mobile phone vibrates, can you see that to and fro motion or the vibration? Usually we cannot see, but we can feel when you touch your hand using that. If you touch that mobile phone using your hand, so from your hand if you touch that mobile, you can feel that vibrations. So when you hit the bell, after hitting the bell, if you touch that bell, we can feel that vibrations. So sound is mainly produced by the vibration. Because of vibration of the object, sound is produced. Some vibrations are visible, some vibrations are not visible, and some vibrations we can feel. So these vibrations are nothing but they are the to and fro motion, moving front and back. That is called vibration. That is back and forth motion of an object. We call it as vibrations. Vibrating object, back and forth motion or to and fro motion. If you consider an example, take a glass tumbler and keep your mobile phone inside the glass tumbler. Take your mobile phone and keep your mobile phone inside the glass tumbler. Just call this mobile phone or give the ringtone for this mobile phone. And what you have to do, you have to close the mouth of this glass tumbler using, you can use a rubber sheet, you can use the balloon, using the balloon, stretch the balloon and close the mouth of this glass tumbler. Just call the mobile phone or use some ringtone. Give call to this mobile phone. Say this mobile phone starts ringing. When this mobile phone starts ringing, you can observe. If you observe carefully, you can see the vibration of this balloon. The mouth of the glass tumbler. You are closing using the balloon sheet, the rubber balloon. You are closing this using the balloon, using the stretched balloon. If you close this, you can observe the vibration. To observe the vibration clearly, what you can do, you can take some small sand grains. You put some sands on the surface, on this stretched balloon, put some sand. So what you can see this sand start dancing. You can see the vibration, movement of these sands. So you can say that sound is produced by the vibration. You can see the vibration. This sand start moving. Vibration is visible here. So sound is produced by the vibrations. Vibrations are sometimes visible, sometimes they are not visible, sometimes we can feel the vibration. But in any way or in any cases, in all the objects, sound is mainly produced because of the vibration. Due to the vibration of the object or due to the vibration of the body, sound is produced. As I said, sound is produced by a vibrating object. When the object vibrates, we can hear the sound. If you take the example of rubber band, take a rubber band and stretch it tightly. Just plug the rubber band. So when that rubber band starts vibrating, you can hear the sound. So listen it carefully. The sound you can hear when the rubber band starts vibrating. So when it stops vibrating, you cannot hear any sound. So we can say that sound is produced by vibration. We are using number of musical instruments in our everyday life. So we can see, we hear voice box or the larynx. So if you touch your neck region, you find a hard bulge-like structure. If you touch the neck part, in this part, a hard bulge, a hard bump you can see, which seems to be moving. If you swallow something, that structure seems to be moving. You can identify that. That is called the larynx or the sound box. So these larynx or the sound box has two membranes. They are called vocal cords. So two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box. Why? For the passage of air. Because of that, they leave a small slit. In the sense, they leave a small gap. Two cords, they are called vocal cords. So these two, if you see this figure, these two are called vocal cords. This one as well as this one. Two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box so that they leave a small narrow slit, narrow gap you can see for the passage of air. When the lungs forces the air, these vocal cords starts vibrating. Because of the vibration of the vocal cords, sound is produced in human being. In human being or humans, there is a special structure called voice box. It is also called the larynx. One more name of voice box is larynx. This larynx is present at the upper end of the windpipe. This hard bulged region, that is called this is the windpipe. Upper end of the windpipe, we can find the voice box or larynx. This larynx has two membranes. They are called as vocal cords. So these two vocal cords are stretched between this voice box so that they leave a small gap. Between them there is a gap for the passage of the air. When the lungs forces the air through this gap or through the opening, these two vocal cords starts vibrating. Because of the vibration, sound is produced. You can see these two structures. So muscles are attached to these vocal cords. So because of these muscles, we can make these vocal cords thick and thin. So when the vocal cords are thin, the quality or the type of the voice produced is different when the same vocal cords are thick. Because of that, we can produce different types of sound. So, how sound is produced in the human being? We have a special structure called as voice box. One more name of voice box is larynx. This voice box has two membranes or larynx has two membranes. They are called vocal cords. These two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box so that they leave a narrow slit. They leave a narrow gap in between the vocal cords. Why? For the passage of air. When the lungs forces the air, because of passage of the air, this vocal cord starts vibrating. Because of the vibration of the vocal cords, as I said, sound is produced due to the vibration of the object. So in human being, what vibrates? Because of that, sound is produced. So what vibrates? Vocal cords vibrate. Because of that, sound is produced. We can produce different types of sounds based on because of the muscles which are attached to the vocal cords. But when the these muscles attached to the vocal cords, they can make these vocal cords thick as well as thin. Because of that, we can produce different types or different quality of the sounds. In this